Hi guys, welcome back to Irish Footy Vlogs. Welcome to another Premier Division review show. We had four games on Friday night. We had one game on Saturday night as well. And we're going to start off with Derry City and UCD. Finished Derry City 3, UCD nil. Graydon after 5. Diallo on 71 and Duffy finally scoring as well on 86 minutes after being obviously been out for a long time through injury, etc. We predicted a routine win for Derry. Was it routine pretty much, JP?
No, wasn't.
No.
Uh, they scored after 5 minutes, and
Yeah.
you're thinking pretty much going to be similar to the last time we played them in the Brandywell, but we didn't. We were very sloppy on the ball. We didn't move it as good as what we had been moving it. But then we moved the ball really well against Shelbourne and Monday night, and we were very sloppy on the ball. When we got the ball in the midfield, players were taking too many touches and getting caught and stuff like that. And um, UCD had chances. They looked dangerous on the break. You could see why they've caused the likes of Sligo problems this year. And if you give them any sort of opportunity, they're not afraid. They come out and attack you. Maher's had to make a fine stop to deny Sean Brennan at 1-0. Um, and it was only Derry didn't get the second goal about, I think, was it the 60th minute or 69th minute?
71.
71 was it? So it was only when they got the second goal that it started to become routine, and they started to relax a wee bit and just play their normal game. I'm not sure, was there a bit of pressure on to try and, because the last time they'd won in the league in the Brandywell was when we beat UCD 7-1. So um was that in the back of their minds? I don't know, but um for the first hour of the game, I thought Derry, as much as they dominated the game, dominated the ball, they weren't good. But the final 25 minutes, it was the Derry City that we know that we can see, and it finished 3. Probably a harsh scoreline on UCD, to be honest. But the way Derry played in the final 20 minutes, it could have been more than 3. Their McGonagall's come off a bench, and he's put a couple wide, and the keeper's made a couple of good saves as well. So as much as I think 3-0 was harsh on UCD, very easily could have been more as well.
That's interesting, actually. So 3-0 seemed to be flatter Derry on the day. Funny thing is, Luke, they've had 5 wins, the Brandywell at home this season, Derry 2 of them against UCD. Yet they're 4 points behind Shamrock Rovers. That's hard to believe, isn't it?
Oh, it's mad. It is mad, to be honest, because these sort of stats, like they do sort of blow the mind, because like I was only talking about yesterday about how Drogheda only have one away win all season, and that sort of blows my mind, and how many points we are ahead of, the likes of the bottom two. So which them sort of stats do interest me, but I honestly think that Derry are missing a gear. They're still sort of missing a gear in games, where they can take it and finish teams off. And look, I know they got the 3-0 in the end, but as JP was saying, it wasn't comfortable. And I seen the highlights, and I seen UCD had a few half chances, and I think Brian Maher does make a good save from Sean Brennan. It was a speculative effort, to be honest. But the keeper done well. He'd be probably disappointed if he was Beffram out there. But he done really well to tip it over the bar. But yeah, then look, obviously Diallo getting a goal as well. He's been excellent, so good. Like
Man, the match, I believe. Given it anyway.
He's just,
Was he?
you sort of know.
No, sorry, he was given Player of the Month, wasn't he? That's what I seen by
Yeah.
Derry City. Yeah.
You sort of know what you're getting with him, to be honest with you. Like he very, very rarely gives the ball away. Like very rarely. Like if you watch 90 minutes of Derry and you watch Diallo, and if you just solely focus on watching Diallo, he just keeps the ball, and he does it so well. Like and he does that simple thing that some players might not be able to do. You know what I mean?
Mm.
And I know I made the mistake last week, and I know it was mentioned in the comments that he's on loan, but no, he is, as everyone was saying, that he is contracted, so that's brilliant for them. You know what I mean? He's a serious talent, like really, really good player. But yeah, 3-0 win for Derry. It's another good 3 points. They're sort of starting to comfortably get that sort of second spot, and they're capable of hitting another gear, because they've got the players to do it. They seem to be just missing that other gear, but look, they'll be delighted with where they are in the table. But yeah, look, great 3 points for them.
Yeah, finished at Oriel Park, Dundalk nil, Shelbourne nil. Not the first nil all between both sides this season. And I think I had a feeling Shamrock would get a result here, but I unfortunately didn't see any highlights. I don't know. Luke, you've seen some of the game on Friday night, did you?
I watched
Of
most of
what
it.
you
I did watch
saw, what
most
would
of
you sum up with, I suppose, in the game?
Yeah, look, it was an interesting game. From what I've seen, like I see in parts, I was sort of had it on and had it off. Do you know what I mean? Look, the pitch, like just to mention it, it looked Oriel has never really been a great pitch, you know that, but the way it looked on Friday night is the worst I've ever seen it. I don't know if you've seen pictures of it or whatever. Patches everywhere. It actually looked like there was muck on it. I know it's an all weather, which obviously there isn't, but it looked like there was mud patches a whole way around the pitch. It was horrible, horrible. And
that would suggest they're not maintaining the pitch if that's the case.
yeah, that probably is the thing. And there was obviously a lot of rain in the game and that, you know what I mean? But it's an all weather, so you'd expect the pitch to hold up. Do you know what I mean? But look, that's beside that's a different point.
Well, we should
altogether.
mention as well quickly, Luke, Connor Kane got a terrible injury. It looks like it's an ACL. I've heard a few other things, but apparently if not, it's a really bad injury. That's all I know for sure. He could be out for even next season as well, which is crazy, really.
But it's not just an injury for them. It's a huge loss. Like it's Connor's been so good for them, and Connor's a really, really good player, like and a really good lad, and he's really, really strong, and mentally as well. You can tell he's a strong lad. Like, do you know what I mean? He played every minute for Shells in the league, I think, this season. You know what I mean? He's been top class, like, for them, and he's so consistent with his play, and that was always I noticed with him and with Drogheda. Some of his, I thought when he was with Drogheda, I thought last season his performances definitely went under the radar when we had like Jimmy Brown, who was getting the plaudits every week, but Connor Kane, you just knew what you were getting with him, to be honest with you. Full of talent, full of quality. It's not the sort of injury you want at any stage of your career. But when you're this young and that, you know what I mean. It's a tough one for him. But look, I hope that he does come back, and obviously wish him well and that. But Connor's a good lad, and I've no doubt he will come back from it, to be honest. But yeah, it's a big loss for Shells, because even Duff said after the game that it's gonna be long term, which I think we could all sort of tell from the incident. Like I had it on when he did get injured, and you could just hear him scream from straight away, which was never really a good sign. And there's no one around him either, which is always a worrying sign when you see players go down like that. But yeah, again, I think another question marks in the pitch there again. Do you know what I mean? And that sort of injury, when you've got a pitch like that, injuries like that can happen. But it's serious. It's a really tough one for Connor. But I hope he comes back stronger from it.
Yeah, and as for Dundalk, I suppose, JP, from their point of view, I suppose 2 points dropped. I was told by a Shelbourne fan, actually, that both teams had chances in the game, and Dundalk probably missed the better chances overall. The likes of Macmillan missed a great chance that was 1-1, and apparently John Martin was 1-1 and that kind of thing. But they have to say it's points drop with Derry winning, and obviously Pat's winning as well. It is points drop for Dundalk, and bit of pressure coming on them now. Like, it is getting interesting, that race. Like,
it is, because a couple of weeks ago we were wondering, could they maybe potentially put Rovers under a bit of pressure, and there is. And now you're looking at them thinking they're under serious pressure for this third spot. They lost to Sligo last week. They've now drew with Shelbourne. And they saw what they had I think they had a 4-point lead over Derry. Now a 2-point deficit, with Derry having a game more played, and then they look behind them, and they're only two in front of Pats, who have a game in hand as well. So I think, to be honest, I don't think Dundalk were going to finish the season in second anyway. I just think Derry would have had a better squad than them anyway. That eventually that was going to take precedence. They started to get a couple of injuries, a couple of suspensions.
I suppose JP taking Mark Connolly from them would make a difference there too, wouldn't it?
It would. Well, it would, but
I kind of say it in jest, but in reality, it does. It is a huge difference.
It does, because you can see the leadership, but he brought that back line in the early part of the season. They barely conceded a goal, really. Now they're starting to concede goals. Well, no, they finished 0-0, but they're conceding chances, like we saw them against Wexford in the cup. They conceded a lot of chances in that game.
But
think with
Shelbourne did have
Murphy.
chances apparently as well. Shepherd
Yeah.
did make a good save from
No,
Madison.
they did.
So,
To be honest with you, they did have chances in the game, Shells. And look, I have to one thing to mention as well. Matty Smith is actually, you know, when he plays in that sort of position that Sean Boyd plays in, he's very good at it. I know he's done
different
that quite a
type.
lot.
Yeah.
It is a different. He's done that a bit with Pats last season. I know that, like,
Yeah.
you know, and he's very good at that sort of area position. And if I was Sean Boyd now, you'd sort of be, you know, he gets sent off for such a stupid thing after the game against Derry. Like, and Matty Smith, you've got a player of his caliber, quality, and look, as well with Sean Boyd, he's got so much quality and he's so good for Shells this season. But when he does stupid things like that, the way he got sent off against Derry, his spot will definitely not be guaranteed in there, especially when you've got someone like Matty Smith who is capable to play in that position and play to a serious quality. And he had a decent chance where Conor Kane put a great ball across the box, and you know he nearly got the glancing header on it. And, you know, if he had got a little bit on it, a little bit more on it, would have been a goal. Like, but he's getting you can see Matty Smith is working hard at Shells, and you know, I think goals and that will come to him. Like, you know.
The thing with Sean Boyd was, I think his 2 yellow cards against Derry were avoidable. The first one, I think he got it for dissent, if I remember rightly, or it could have been topping up. I'm not 100%, but once the whistle goes, the game's over. I don't know what his issue was with the referee after the game, because there was no penalty shout. There was no it wasn't like he played beyond the 90th minute and Derry scored. Derry scored just right at the start of the injury time.
Probably a little bit too hot-headed at times, JP.
Yeah,
I think that's
not quite sure what his issue was with after the game, because it's not even that he's gone up and got a yellow card for mouthing off the referee. I think he's actually shoved one of Derry players to the ground, and I think that's and that was right in front of the linesman too. But for Shelbourne, it's a decent point for them away at Oriel Park, on the back of, because no doubt that they would have been on the floor after that lit sucker punch against Derry. As much as Derry deserved to win the game, Shelbourne got so close to getting a point. And look, if they got a point, you could have turned around and said, yeah, they deserved the point, because they did defend. They restricted Derry. They in that game they restricted Derry. They half chances, and then they've gone to Oriel Park and they've put in another performance, and they've got the rewards this time around. And it's just about Shelbourne just trying to consolidate and maybe build for next year. But for Dundalk, they just need to be careful, because they're dangerously looking over the shoulder. I know they're still in the cup where Pats aren't. So that could favour Dundalk, and the fact that if they reach the final and finish fourth, potentially they don't need to win the cup. But look, they'll want to finish third. They've done so well to get this far in the season, to be in the top 3. They won't want to drop out in the final weeks.
Absolutely. Speaking of Pats, finished St. Patrick's Day 2, Finn Harps 1 at Richmond Park, and a mad 9 minutes, I think. Forrester put Pats in front after 15. Breslin scored after 18. McNamee after 24. The Forrester goal was actually a very good goal in terms of the move, and actually Breslin does very well here and gets down the left brilliantly. Great ball into the box, and Forrester's on hand to finish it. And then Breslin, lucky enough for him, gets his first goal for the club with his right foot after good work from Barry Cotter. And then a good cross into the box. I think it was Mac Woods, actually. Yeah, he played a lovely ball into the box, and McNamee finished to make it 2-1. I look, it's a good win for Pats. 4 wins in a row. As we said there, they're right behind Dundalk, which is interesting as well. You'd have to say 2 points behind them with a game in hand. I thought it was interesting. I don't know what you thought. I might go to JP first with this one, but the reaction when Finn Harps scored their goal was a bit weird. It looked like a 93rd minute consolation when you're already 3-0 down. I mean, I don't expect them to be jumping around like lunatics, but there was like, get the ball out of there, let's go type thing. It was very flat, wasn't it? I just thought that was strange. Did you?
There was no emotion. I said that off air. Like, there was no emotion in it. There was no the goal was scored, and it was just literally there wasn't even a hurry to get the ball back, to get back the halfway line. It just looked like a team that was bereft of confidence, bereft of ideas, of a team that were wondering how on earth that goal had come about. Like, it was really good play by McWoods, and McNamee got himself in a good position and tapped it home. And at that point, like, the Finn Harps of old would have been they would have celebrated with the player. There wouldn't have been a full out mad celebration. They would have maybe saluted the fans. They'd have high five one another and they'd have patted one another in the back and right, let's go. We're back in this game.
Technically, it's a vital goal. Like they've just gone 2 down in 3 minutes and they're back in the
Yeah.
game. Like
They're back. They're back in the game before even half an hour on the clock. And Fun Harps of old would have got back into their positions, got the game restarted, and maybe put the team under pressure for the next 5 or 10 minutes, trying to overturn that 2 goal deficit. Because we saw at Fun Park, that's what they done. They were 2-0 down going in the final 5 minutes, and they got a goal and they got an equaliser.
Mind it all the time.
That just looked like a team that was for ideas. But the 2 goals Pat scored were really well worked goals. I think Doyle dummied it for Foster for the first one, and then Anto Breslin with a fine finish at the back post. But Fun Harps will be disappointed with a defending for both goals because I'm sure they'll look at it and think that they were both avoidable.
Yeah, I think Cotter got in easily. In the second half, Pats did have some chances as well. Finn Harps did have a chance where it was blocked by Sam Curtis, I think it was. It was a very good block by Curtis, and obviously it trickled back to Rodgers then. But Luke, for Pats, obviously a big win. For Finn Harps, disappointing defeat, but still 9th in the table. But how did you see that overall anyway?
Yeah, I think there was another red card as well for Finn Harps.
That's right, and to be honest,
like,
I think
how many red cards have they had in the last couple of weeks? There's a serious issue with discipline, I think. Finn Harps and look, that's not just to do with players, and Ollie Horgan was sent off there a few weeks ago. And when he got sent off, it was only like the 10th minute, I think it was, Ollie Horgan. There is a bit of an issue with discipline at Finn Harps. I don't know what it is. It's you shouldn't be getting that many red cards. You definitely should not be getting that many red cards, regardless of what's going on in the game or anything like that.
I don't know what JP thought. I thought the tackle itself by McGinn, it was a poor tackle as well. Like,
reckless, absolutely.
I was
seriously injured Adam O'Reilly there. If I'm honest.
It's 2 red cards in a row for them, so it is. It was a horrendous tackle. Whenever you watch the initial highlight, that you see it and you're thinking, oh, that's bad. But then when you actually watch the replay, he makes sure, because he slides in, but he lifts his leg up to make sure that he makes contact, which tells you somebody that knows what they're doing, to be honest. And I think it was a coward's tackle. I think it was somebody who...
I think O'Reilly was extremely lucky, to be honest.
Yeah. He's lucky. He's absolutely lucky. I think that was a coward's tackle, to be honest. Somebody who just probably felt like he didn't want to be on that pitch anymore, and he took the easy way out.
Was he on a yellow?
No, it was straight red.
Straight red, yeah. Straight red.
Yeah, but he took out the yellow, didn't he? And then...
Yeah, he was going to give a yellow and changed his mind,
unless he took it out by accident.
Possibly, yeah.
That sometimes happens too. JP, you've never done that though. At Daleyman Park, a pitch Bohemians, Shamrock Rovers 0. And I was here for this one. And strange derby, I have to say, first of all, because of the reduced away fans. 358 Shamrock Rovers fans were there, and they were all, the Des Kelly stand, so they were all over the far end of it. I don't know if people were looking at it and telly, if some people seen the highlights or whatever, but when you were there, it took away completely. And I'll be honest, if Bohemians didn't score in the second half, there would have been no atmosphere really at all. Like, it definitely took away, whether people agree or disagree with the reasoning. The fact is, it took away from a massive derby. Bowes would be delighted.
What was the reasoning?
I don't think they
pettiness.
What?
Pettiness.
Well, I don't think they gave an official line on it this time, did they? But there was trouble when Shamrock Rovers came the last time, and yes, there was. Do you remember? I think the game didn't kick off for a few minutes or something because the fans wouldn't stop throwing the flags onto the pitch. Yeah, that was the. Yeah, but I don't know if an official reason was actually given as such. You know what I mean? If it was, I certainly missed it anyway, that's for sure. But but anyway, on to the game itself. And look, a huge 3 points for Bowes. Derry Pender be delighted that he got a reaction from the squad. In a way, it's not a surprise because, they've been poor of late. Keith Long loses his job. You've got Shamrock Rovers on Friday. One would suggest that it was the easiest game to go into in many ways, in terms of... getting up for it and that. But you have to give them credit on the night, because I do think they battled very well and they fought for each other and they worked hard as a team. And they did deserve the 3 points. Dylan Watts got a red card as well, second yellow. No argument for me either. But there was a question, JP, before we talk about the goals and other bits and pieces. And Kieran Kelly, I think, was very lucky not to be sent off. I didn't pick it up for whatever reason when I was there. I don't know why or how, but it was over the far side, so you're looking that way. So I simply didn't see it properly. But for me, I think that's a red card as well, isn't it?
It is. It was stupid from Kelly, because at that point, both Rovers were down to 10. Bows had gone 1-0 up, and all of a sudden he's threw himself into a tackle, and he's run the risk of a red card. Now Rob Hennessy said he's got the ball. Don't even think he gave a free kick for it. He probably did get the ball, but
he's gone through the player. Surely
he's gone absolutely through the player to get it with the studs up. He caught the player in the shin to get it. So yeah, I think that should have been a red card. To be fair to Rob Hennessy, he probably needs a bit of help from his linesman. His linesman's probably closer to it. But it wasn't given. But I think if it had been given as a red, you couldn't have no complaints. Absolutely not. And then the yellow, Dylan Watts, didn't see what he got his yellow card for, but his second one, if you're on a yellow card, you've no complaints with a foul like that. So what I saw from the game, Sean Hoare had a good chance in the first half to give Rovers the lead. If that goes in, Rovers probably going to win the game at a canter. But the longer in these type of games, the longer the game goes on at 0-0, and it favours the underdog in the game, and that's what it done. And Bows will be delighted they've got the win. Feel a wee bit for Keith Long, because where was that performance for him had he lost the dress? But for Bows, they needed a reaction, and Derek Pender has got it. Now I know Derek Pender's trying to keep the spirits up and saying that he's still targeting Europe through the league and he has to have a target. But I can't see them putting in another 7 performances like that there.
No, I mean, the winner from Liam Burke was absolutely brilliant in 72. You knew it was one of them, you knew the minute he hit it was going to there. And that's what Liam Burke can offer. He was quite good throughout the game, but they just battled hard in the game. And Rovers, they did outfight Rovers in the game. And that often happens, Shamrock Rovers against Bohemians. I don't know why it is. Maybe it's because if Bows were kind of further up the table, I don't know, that kind of way, because they're still a bit underdog when they play Rovers, if we're honest about it, aren't they? But from Rovers' point of view, it's good because they've left the door slightly ajar, Luke.
Yeah, they have. But look,
well, not from their point of view. From our point of view, it's good because they've left it ajar.
yeah, absolutely. But to be honest with you, I think I said during
false hope.
They tend to do that.
I said during the week that this is the sort of game you'd expect your team to be up for. And if you can't get up for this sort of game, then you're not going to get up for any game. Do you know what I mean? That was the game that Bows needed, that sort of performance to get a bit of confidence. And look, I don't know what way to react after getting that win now. Like, you don't know what to expect from Bows now. They could go out and be beaten next week, and it rips up a is it against Derry, is it?
Sorry, Bows fans.
But they'll say they're doing the league a favour if they let Derry win, won't they?
Yeah, pretty much. But look, if they do go out now next week against Derry and do get a beating, it just sort of rips up what a performance they had the week before against Shamrock Rovers. And look, I know look like a great atmosphere from the Bows fans, and they deserve that. You know what I mean? Because they've had a tough. You know what I mean? So they deserve that sort of night, and that was a brilliant night for them. You know what I mean? 1-0 at home against your bitter rivals. You couldn't think of anything better. Like we had 2 of them this season. So, but look, it's brilliant. It is brilliant for them. So it's a good 3 points, but they've got to react now from this, and put that behind them and go again, because they do tend to drop off. And if they can just stay on top of Derry next week, and look, I know we'll talk about it next week, but they do have a chance, because they do have some decent players there. But obviously, I know you said James Clark had a great game, and that's so. I just seen the highlights, didn't see enough. I just whatever I seen was from the highlights. But yeah, look, big win for Bows, and it looked like a great night, and their fans did deserve it, to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll finish up with Sligo Rovers and Drogheda on Saturday. I watched this game having a beer at home. Me. Sligo 2, Drogheda 0. No, I have to say, honestly, Livock on 9 minutes, Keenan 75. I thought the first half was pretty good, actually, and I thought Sligo came out like a steam train, to be honest, and Drogheda had their moments as well in that first half as well. It went very flash in general in the second half. We'll get on to that in a minute, but Sligo 2 wins in a row at the showgrounds. I'm not sure that's even happened this season, Luke, or I'll start with JP from the Sligo perspective, really. And for them, just important to win to, keep them, at arm's length to the pack going for Europe, I suppose, really.
Yeah, because it's the last chance that they have of Europe, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really is through the league, so they have to try and keep in there. I think it's going to be difficult for them. I think 7 points with 8 games to go it's not impossible, but it just makes it a wee bit difficult, especially with the form the Pats are in, having won 4 in a row. They're whether they can catch Dundalk is another thing. I just think they may well be just a wee bit too far. Well, 9 points.
It's not a massive gap, but I'm
not
just
a massive
not sure
gap,
they have the quality of the teams.
Quality. Well, Dundalk, where they drop that amount of points, where do they have the quality? They pick it up. But if you look at their home form, they're third in the table for the league this year, in terms of the home table. So,
yeah,
they're probably where you would expect them to be honest, and that's in 5th place. They had a really good run in Europe this year, and when you have a run like that, you want to get back in the following year. They sort of keep that momentum going. Unfortunately, right now it looks like Sligo are going to miss out, but it's not over. It's over, and as you say, it just keeps them in the tails. It's just impact, because if they hadn't won last night, I think it was
definitely
finished for as far as they were concerned for making Europe. But really good win for them, and they'll look to finish the season strong now.
Yeah, look, from Drogheda's point of view, as I said, I was watching the game myself. I felt there was a stage in the second half when Sligo were obviously, excuse me, my throat. When Sligo were obviously 1-0 up, I thought there was a stage where Drogheda were really creeping back into the game. The chances from Williams, if he connects right, is probably a goal. There was another opportunity as well. And then they give away a very poor penalty, and it's killed the game really for them, because they were really coming back into it. And we know with Sligo, they can get a bit jittery if they're 1-0 up in the final stages. So Drogheda will be a little bit disappointed with that, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, look, it was an interesting game, I thought, to be honest. Like I was there, but it was I don't know, like I thought we started the game quite well. I was happy enough with the start, and then you just give away a goal, and it's an early goal again, and it's you don't really give yourself much of a chance then. Well, not that you don't give yourself much of a chance. Before you can get settled again, you know what I mean. You're 1-0 down, and it's frustrating, to be honest with you. Look, I think it was said after the game as well that I don't really think Drogheda were good going forward or defending, to be honest with you, in the game. Parts of the game I thought we were all right. I thought we showed glimpses of what we can do. But yeah, like it's disappointing, to be honest. It was a disappointing night, and yeah, Sligo, look, obviously the second goal, and to be honest with you, when I first saw the penalty, I was a bit like, I don't know if it's a penalty, and I was interested because it was just seeing it. I literally have not seen it back since. I've only seen it when I was at the game, and from the angle I was at it, like I'd be interested to see if would we get that decision, that type of way in the box. I'd be very interested to see. It's one of them ones. I look, it probably was a penalty, to be honest, and but I was interested because there was no real appeals from the Sligo players. It just
then again,
happened.
There wasn't many complaints from the Drogheda players, I might add as well.
Yeah, I know, but
I think it was a penalty. Personally, I had the luxury of seeing a replay as well, and yeah, it was a bit clumsy, to be honest, Luke. But it's a pity from Drogheta's point of view, because at that point, like I was watching it, you could sense it could be an equaliser on here.
Oh yeah, no,
Sligo were sitting back, and that just got them out of jail, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. I don't really think Sligo done an awful lot in the game.
It wasn't a great game. First half was decent, I thought, because there was I thought it was very open, so I enjoyed that. But it wasn't a great game. I don't think Drogheda played great themselves. I don't think Sligo were great either. But the second half it died really, I thought, and that penalty just killed it completely. And Drogheda did have a few chances after that, and it just wouldn't go in. But they were never getting back into the game. You felt.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Like, and you know, it was disappointing because then obviously Keith Cowan goes off at half time with an injury, and you know, Keith's been excellent for us this season, and you know, he's so reliable for us, and that was disappointing because him and Andrew Quinn seem to have really built a good partnership. I think we've said that before, but yeah, that was disappointing to lose him at half time. But look, I did as the second half was going on and it was still 1-0. I was like, you know, we could get a chance here, and yeah, look, it's disappointing in the end, but look, that's what happens. But as well, the 17-year-old Emre coming on done really, really well. I thought he was getting stuck in, and he actually could have scored as well, to be honest. But which would have been a great story. But he done really well, and you know, it was brilliant to see someone so young getting his debut, his first team debut, and doing really well. And he actually didn't really look out of place in there. And from what I've heard, he's doing really, really well in training as well. So like that's brilliant as well for that. You know, another young lad coming through there, but getting his first team debut. So no, that was brilliant to see. But yeah, poor performance, I thought, and then poor result. But look, on to Pats next week.